What's going on? It's time to talk about another thriller slasher type film. This one's called Muerto, the Dead One. Well, it's also known as the Dead One because in some places it's only released as the Dead One in North America, and then like some of the DVD packs and stuff like that. Um, yeah, it's called Muerto, the Dead One. So yeah, it was released by Three Lion Productions. Uh, March 1st, 2007, starring Wilmer Valderrama, produced by Harry Ratner, and written and directed by Brian Cox, who's also done films such as Scorpion Spring, Shepherds and Butchers, Pulse 2, Afterlife, Pulse 3, the sequel to like the Paranormal Pulse movies, not the 80s one or the Japanese ones. Don't Look Up and Kite. So yeah, Muerto the Dead One is basically a vigilante superhero type film. It yeah, takes place in like Mexico, and it's based on a graphic novel, El Muerto the Dead One. And I'm not sure the source how close it is to the source material because I never read it. But yeah. So you meet El Muerto. He's a young kid, and he ends up having like almost like a near death experience, and he gains a power to bring people back to life and take people's lives and stuff as he wish. He wears like shitty crappy skull makeup, but yeah, so he's like a vigilante, and the spirits contacts helps him benefit um people and stuff like that and help people out, but then he could also be a menace and do it take it. So him and his friends start realizing he's acting a little weird, and that this is sort of they slowly realize that something odd is happening, and he starts turning on them, and he ends up happening to be um what's the word be a little menace, and then he turns into more of a vigilante because an evil witch doctor chick is causing havoc, and he has to stop her. So overall, this is your typical almost like a superhero type film. It is very low key, played down tune for the most part. The optical effects are a little cheesy nowadays, but overall it's not that bad. It was typical. It's sort of like it felt sort of like a more easier to watch version of like Ghost Rider or something like that. Yeah, there's not much to the film. It's your typical backstory superhero vigilante film. It's sort of the same as like Batman, but done Mexico with a Mexican, and yeah, and he is more of a vigilante. It's not really a horror film like how it's marketed. There's definitely no scary scenes in it or anything like that. And for the most part, it's him trying to figure out his love life at the same time. And yeah, there's not very many kills though, which is disappointing. Like the backstory and stuff was cool, but I found this movie dragged quite a bit because there's a lot of pointless dialogue, and there's not a whole lot going on for the most part. Most of it's him trying to figure out what's going on himself. Where like as the audience, you're spoon fed it, but for the character, still somehow doesn't believe it's happening and stuff, and it's really gets mundane, and the pacing kind of like slows it down a bit, and it kind of makes it a little bit boring in some scenes. Now when he realizes his powers and stuff like that, then it gets a little more interesting and amusing and stuff because people don't know what they're seeing and stuff, and it's makes it for a little more interesting watch. But from something good to something good, there's quite a bit of time in between that nothing really happens, and it's one of those pitfalls that most B movies make where it gets pretty like the worst thing a film can do is be boring. Now this one's not boring throughout the whole thing, but when you have long periods of boredom, you're kind of probably going to lose people's attention and stuff, which is what the problem is with this one. Most of the characters have pointless dialogue. You don't really feel for them or anything like that, so there's no like connection from the audience to the characters. And yeah, like the fight scenes and stuff are cool and all, and like some of the spiritual effects and things. Like it's outdated now, but it's still amusing to watch. But when it's like sporadically put in there and not like a constant almost, it kind of wanes and you're kind of just like, as soon as something good happens, you're like, oh, finally. And then it just ends. And then some more boring stuff happens. And it's your typical backstory. There wasn't really anything new. And it definitely floundered into that sort of realm of slow, boring, nothing new type of film. So, but it's still watchable. Like, there's still some scenes that you'll appreciate. There's some actors that, bigger names in there that make an appearance and make it more amusing and stuff. So, it's not all terrible, but it's definitely not the best thing out there. It's more middle of the road for me. I don't want to say it's bad, but I definitely don't want to say it's really good. This is more if you like like the movie Ghost Rider and stuff like that, uh, or if you like the more tame sort of superhero films like the Catwoman movie and stuff like that. You might find this one somewhat interesting, but for most people, they'll probably find it boring, especially now with like the Marvel universe and stuff. It's definitely not going to be for them, but for the most part, it's watchable at least. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to say about it. It's just that I wish that there was a lot more to happen than just the boring backstory dialogue that was spoon fed to us. But yeah, Muerto the Dead One, I am going to give this one a 2.5 out of 5. It's watchable, but it's middle of the road. Don't expect anything super fantastic, and you're definitely not going to get anything really new. Everything's been done before, and it just follows those tropes and tries to cash in on whatever film inspired it around the same time, which is probably Ghost Rider or something like that. So yeah, that's what I thought of Omerto, the Dead One. There's a trailer link down below if you want to check it out. If it sounds interesting and something you might be interested in, or if you want to relive it for some reason or something like that, it's linked down below. Also, my Instagram's always linked down below where I always post clips of films I'm going to review in the future on my stories, so make sure you follow me there because I always put the film title and a hashtag and the subgenre of film in there. So make sure you follow me on Instagram and stay in the loop. Like this video, share it so more people are aware of it. Comment your opinions down below of the film if you've seen it. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. And if you have any films at all that you want to hear my opinions on in the future, comment those down below. I'll try my best to as soon as I can, and if I can find them. And make sure you subscribe because you never know what I'm going to talk about next. And I have no idea what the hell I'm going to talk about next. I did quite a few slasher and like horror films and stuff, so I'm probably going to take a little break from that, but we'll see how it goes. There's a couple action movies and stuff I want to check out, so I might dip into that for a little bit, but we'll see how it goes. Yeah, but yeah, watch out for those evil spirits. Hopefully there's a vigilante to help you get over it, and I guess I'll see you all in the next review, so hopefully it's a little better than this one. So cheers.